So I am here. This is Bill Hoops with PGF here in Florida. I am here on a Zoom meeting with Coach Jay Miller of Lake Sumter State College in Central Florida area. And Coach Jay, I appreciate you joining us here this afternoon. Like I told you previously, just setting up with college ball being shut down, travel ball being shut down because of the virus, and people not being able to go to games and interact and play travel ball and do these things. I wanted to just kind of find a way to keep people connected with college ball, travel ball, and the softball community as a whole. So just a little bit about you. People may not know that you have two children. You recently had a son in 2019, and you've written a book. So just tell us a little bit about you as a person, as a coach, as an author, and kind of just a little bit about who you are.
Okay, well, usually the first question I get is, as a male, how did I get started in softball? And a long time ago, I was playing college baseball. I was a pitcher, and we were throwing bullpens in the wintertime, and I tore my UCL in half, ripped basically my arm into two. As far as what the doctor said, I ended up having Tommy John surgery. That summer, I went from Ohio to Florida, where my parents were. My father was a high school softball coach, and he basically threw a rule book at me and said, "You're not doing anything this summer, so you're coaching the softball team." And I went, "This is going to be the worst summer of my life," because I was, back in the day, I was like, baseball's here, everything else is.
Sure.
And by the end of the summer, I was like, I just found out what I want to do for the rest of my life. So that began, a rocky road of changing my major in college, trying to play college baseball while actually learning the softball side of things. I was very lucky to have softball coaches along the way that were very inviting for me to come in and sit in their office and pick their brains. And so, Northwest Missouri State University, at the time, my wife and I were actually married, and she was the right fielder on the team, but because we were married, I was allowed to coach and everything like that. So helped with the hitting. And then the second year there, she had graduated. I was still a grad student, so I was able to be basically a full-time assistant coach and help out up there. And I really learned a lot. And then my wife told me when we both left Missouri, we're taking the first job you get in Florida, and that's where we're staying. So I was an SID at a Division II school and was not feeling fulfilled, sitting behind a computer desk all day. I wasn't helping people, and that's what I wanted to do. And so a long story short, the Lake Sumter job opened up, and it's the only job in the entire country I can get my softball career started and going and love it and be 30 minutes from my entire family, my parents, my wife's parents. So we were very blessed and very lucky. And then my wife and I settled down actually in Inverness, which is Citrus County. So I have a 40-minute commute, but my wife likes to remind me that she has a 4-minute commute. So it works out to her benefit, and this is where we're going to stay for a while.
There you
So,
go.
I have two boys, both named after Major League pitchers, Beckett and Maddox. Maddox being the youngest and Beckett being the oldest. And so,
Coach, that's commitment.
I thought for sure my wife's a Yankees fan. So I thought, oh man, we're going to have a Jeter or something like that. But she was all about it. She loved Beckett. And the funny thing is, we couldn't decide on a name. I just went and got a box of old baseball cards and was just going through them. And I went, Josh Beckett. And she went, Beckett. And so, boom, stuck.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So you had mentioned just now that your dad gave you a high school coaching job, right? But now he actually coaches with you at Lake Sumter, right?
Oh, yeah. The tables have turned,
Yeah.
People tell me you've met my dad. My dad's a big guy.
Sure.
People tell me, you got some big shoes to fill. I said, my feet are bigger than his. It's the pants that I can't fit into. His are bigger than mine. But it's been a blast. This is the first year he actually wasn't my assistant coach. He was offered a job back at the high school level. He's in the drop, eyeing retirement. And then once he retires, I'm sure he'll come back. But it was a blast, especially being a first-time head coach at the college level. It was really good to have that no sugar coated. On the ride home, he'd go, "Man, you screwed up today," and I'd be like, "Okay, let's talk about it," And then
Sure.
the second year, of course, I think I know everything, and he has to put me back in my place. And then it was a great experience that I was blessed to have.
Sure. Well, look, I'm going to try and share this screen here. I've got a screen pulled up. Like I said, you wrote a book. If I do this correctly, then you've got a book on, can you see that? On Amazon.
Yes, there it is.
.com. It's called The Island, An Unconventional Way of Coaching People, Not Players. And it looks like you wrote this here. It says the book was created to help coaches of all sports at any level empower their athletes beyond their athletic ability. The words written go beyond the normal daily routine and application for coaches. So I'm just going to read the first sentence there. So the book is available on Amazon, and we're going to share the link to the book when it's all said and done. But talk a little bit about your book, the inspiration, why you wrote it, what kind of gave you the drive to write a book about coaching, and what you wanted the book to do and who you wanted to have an impact on.
Okay, so you got to start at the beginning. We took over a program that had averaged 11 wins a year for 10 years, an entire decade where they're playing 60 games a season and they're averaging 11 wins a year.
Yeah.
They hadn't, when we took over, they had not had a winning season since 1999. And I took over in 2015. So it was, I jumped in like any other young coach thinking X's and O's. I got this. Let's do this. Well, we won 13 games my first year, and I went, reality set in, we don't have an X's and O's problem. We have a cultural problem. Right. It's what's going on off the field. It's what's not going into on-field work. So we quickly revamped, and I got to tell you, the number one thing I did is I stopped looking at what other people did and started doing what I wanted to do, not what I thought I was supposed to do. And that's the best advice I can give to any young coach is do what you think is right. Trust yourself. And once I started doing that, we started having more and more success. It became bringing in these kids that, okay, yes, they're talented, they've got talent, but are they coachable? Number one thing is we recruit people over players. You got to be a good person. With our restrictions on scholarships, we got to be able to take someone who's good and turn them into something a lot better. We've taken 2 right-handed hitters and turned them into slappers, and they both career numbers over 300. We've taken an outfielder who's never played second base and led the nation and put outs by a second baseman. I mean, that's incredible. And it comes down to not their athletic talent so much as the person. So what we kind of figured out, getting back to the book, is one day we're sitting in there and we're doing a team bonding thing. And I meant, man, I asked the girls, we're going into some of the biggest games. And I said, how many of you didn't have another scholarship offer besides Lake Sumter? And 6 of our 9 starters had nowhere else to go if they weren't playing softball at Lake Sumter. And that year, we finished tied 3rd in the conference. And who's in our conference. And
Sure.
For us to do something like that is, So I sat there that day and I looked at my dad and I said, we coach the island of misfit toys. For whatever reason, they're broken, they're damaged, they're overlooked, they're undervalued. And we can't go out and afford the kid who's hitting 10, 15 home runs a year in high school. And so we kind of said that out loud, and the girls bought into it and they loved it. And so they kind of rallied around this, island of misfit toys. So we kind of focus on being different. Our values are different. I tell the girls all the time, I don't care if you break the home run record. I don't care if you break the RBI record. I don't care if you break the strikeout record for single season strikeouts. What you do off the field is the most important thing to me. And that, I think, kind of separates us from other people, because my job, if I go 0-60 and all my girls graduate with a 3.9, 4.0 GPA, no one's going to say anything.
Right.
And I think that's what makes it a little bit different. And that's how we have to recruit. And so the story of the book came, we needed to change the culture. We started doing that. We started having success off the field, in the classroom, and on the field. And so when my son came along at 8, my second one, Maddox, this past July, 8 days old, he was life flighted. Bacterial infection. Bacterial infection, had no idea. The ER doctor said, basically, this has been going on for 12 hours. We've got 12 hours to figure it out, or there's going to be irreversible damage. From that point on, you know, we were in a hospital for 7 straight days. My wife and I switched off, you know, and everything like that. But during that time, I was having players, coaches, current, former players, texting, calling, emailing, Facebooking, messaging, everything. What can we do to help you? And in our culture, we use the acronym FAMILY. Forget about me, I love you. It's not what you can do for yourself, but what you can do for other people. I tell the girls, if you're gonna win conference player of the year and you didn't make your team any better and we finished 5 out of 7, what did we really accomplish? Nothing. So, you know, that really hit home to me when they were doing that. I'm sitting there, you know, stressed out. It's, you know, not knowing what each day is going to bring, not knowing my bills racking up. And so, you know, that's what gave me the inspiration to start writing the book. And, you know, I was afraid to take anything away from my wife because she worked so hard and everything. So I actually got up in the middle of the night after she went to sleep and wrote the book. So she had no idea I even wrote the book until I gave her the first copy on Christmas.
That's pretty cool, Coach. Pretty cool stuff. And how's your son doing now? Obviously, he's healed. He's well. Everything's okay.
He's thriving. You know, I tell people when he was born, he weighed 10 pounds, 8 ounces, and Nick Saban was on the phone with the hospital making sure those numbers were accurate. And, you know, he's massive. He's 99 percentile in length, 97 in weight. So Coach, he's a massive dude.
Coach, I don't want to burst your bubble, but I was a 9.5-pound baby myself, and you see how that turned out. All right, look, I'm going to put that up one more time just so people can see it here one more time. The book is called The Island, An Unconventional Way of Coaching People, Not Players. So if you're interested in a great read and you want to learn more about Coach Jay, his philosophies, or just coaching female athletes in general, check out the book, The Island.
I do want to say about that. There's stories of me as a softball coach, a college baseball player, a college administrator, and even as a little brother, because growing up, I know my sister's not going to watch this podcast, but growing up, my sister was the best athlete in the house. And I'm not going to say that to her face, but you know, there's those kind of stories too. So the book is to make you laugh, to make you think, and you know, there's a couple chapters that are going to rattle your emotions.
Very good. I want to shift focus here a little bit. Obviously, with the virus going around, softball being shut down, it looks like when your season ended, you guys were on the winning end. You had a 17-15 record. Team was doing well, hitting over 340, 346 average, 426 on base percentage. So offensively, you guys were on a little bit of a roll. How did, you know, obviously ending the season was terrible for everyone, right? High school ball is still in limbo. I coach high school ball. We still don't know what's going to happen with that. But obviously at the college level, your seasons were all canceled. How did this affect your girls? You know, is the Junior College Athletic Association following the same route as the NCAA and allowing these girls another year of eligibility? Does that even work at the junior college level where with a 2-year degree? Does that give you a backlog? Like, what is the current situation at your school and maybe with some of your counterparts throughout the state that you've talked to? How is this impacting junior college softball?
Okay, so this has been a whirlwind, I'll be honest with you. The last thing I remember is one day I'm doing a scouting report, practicing for the #1 team in the country that we're supposed to play on Saturday. And it was a Thursday, and then that afternoon I was told, nope, shut down, everything. So, you know, our last practice, we didn't know it was our last practice. And for us personally, that has been really tough to handle. You know, I myself have really struggled with it. It took me about 2 weeks of being at home to really come to terms with not seeing my girls every day, not having that, you know, interaction with them and being able to help them. And that's the biggest thing is I had meetings with girls every day that really had nothing to do with softball. It's about life. You know, what are you going to do after softball? And not having that has really mentally challenged me to, you know, do something else and try not to get obsessed with the little things.
Right.
But, I had a girl actually last week just sent me a picture of her with tears rolling down her face because she missed it so much.
Right.
That's hard to swallow. But as far as, junior college as a whole, what we've come to is this. They are basically giving a hardship red shirt to every player.
Okay.
That includes freshmen. You would be a freshman next year. Sophomores, you can come back to the same program. Okay, I have not seen anything that's going to allow anybody to transfer if you're a sophomore transferring to another junior college as a sophomore. I have not seen that. Not saying you can't, but I haven't seen that allowed yet.
Sure.
But so far they have not lengthened the roster size, and I know our school is not going to allow extra scholarships. So all of a sudden I'm handcuffed again.
Right.
I think I've got like 9 or 10 sophomores, and I have limited 2 to coming back. One of them was able to get into a certificate program because she is actually graduating, but the certificate program is a different route. She's able to get aid. The other one is really struggling to find classes. But as far as my sophomores who are not returning, and I had a couple who, again, culture, this is our program, came up to me and said, don't bring me back. I've got scholarship offers. There's people who need to be here.
Right.
I don't need to be here. I can be successful other places, after 2 years. And so what the NCAA Division II and NAIA have done is they're allowing our sophomores this year to come to them as sophomores again. They're honoring the NJCAA red shirt, which then gives our sophomores who are leaving this year 3 years to play at a 4-year school.
Gotcha.
Which is huge, especially I've got girls
is that any 4-year school or just moving on to the NAIA? So if they move on to Division III, Division II, Division I, they still have that 3rd year of eligibility left?
Division I, they have not decided on yet.
Okay.
Division II will allow that redshirt year. They're going to accept it. Absolutely 100%. I doubt Division III is going to. I have not heard yet. Them being so academic and
Sure.
Here's your 2 years, here's
Kinda
your
like
4
the
years.
Ivy League.
Yeah. Oh, that was a crushing blow. I kind of was, oh man, but
it really didn't surprise me though, because they don't allow red shirting or any of that. I mean, they're a 4-year, you get to play your 4 years. And I mean, look, you're talking Harvard, Princeton, Yale, these guys and gals move on to law school, medical school, internships, all these different things. They're not designed to be 5-year schools, I don't think,
Correct. And like I said, I think I even saw yesterday Wisconsin's not bringing any of their seniors back.
Yeah, I mean
which is a Power 5 school.
Right. It's a domino effect, right? I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch it. All right, let's talk about recruiting. You took over a program quite a few years ago that you just mentioned were winning 11 games a year, right? And you came in as a young, energetic, and you're still a fireball full of energy. We come to our camps and clinics like you are one of the best. I enjoy watching you work for sure.
Thank you.
But you obviously you are the most winningest coach in Lake Sumter history. You have many seasons with 20 wins or more. You have a couple of seasons, I believe, and at least one with 30 wins, right? So you've obviously come in and turned the program around. I know personally, I'm a travel ball coach. I haven't gotten one of my kids to you yet, but that's a work in progress. We're there. But I like to push my players to find what I call the right fit, right, for each one of them. We get a lot of kids that come on our team and they are just this school, and that's fine. We push them to where their dreams are, but we're also realistic when it comes to ability, when it comes to that box of where do they fit and admissions requirements. Do they have the grades and the GPA and the test scores to actually get into some of these universities that they want to play at? So when you're recruiting a good fit, use the acronym family there, what are you looking for in a person and a player? And when you are on that field, when you're behind the fence at an event and you just say, man, I've got to have that kid. I know you and I had a conversation on the phone 2 weeks ago about a certain player, and you were just like, man, I've got to have that kid. So what is the eye-opening moment that you look for on a player? And then on the flip side of that, what are some things that completely turn you off to, no matter how good that player's ability is, you just don't want that kid to be a part of your program?
So when I'm at a showcase and I'm there, I love to pay attention to what kind of teammate are you. There's certain things. Are you the loudest one? Are you the supportive one? Are you talking the game during the game? Are you always moving on the field? Are you always communicating with your teammates right next to you? That and the what I call the hustle factor. You get one opportunity, you know, every inning to display who you are, and you can sprint onto the field or you can walk onto the field. You don't, if you're an outfielder, you might go 7 innings, not get a ball hit to you ever. But if you're dead sprinting to your position every inning, everybody's going to see it. That's the biggest thing is communication and hustle. I love to see that kind of stuff. What kind of teammate are you? Are you sprinting on and off the field? And then what turns me off is lack of knowledge of the game. I'm trying to catchers who don't throw down like the best they can before every inning. You've got coaches sitting right behind you with stopwatches, just going like this.
Time, right?
And yeah, and I can't tell you how many times I've had to tell a coach, hey, I'm trying to get a pop time, and she's just tossing it down there. I mean, that kind of stuff. One time I was actually at Coach Fagan's showcase, and I watched a girl walk in. Her dad carried her bat bag for her, and she told her mom she got her the wrong color Gatorade. And I watched what number she got on her chest, Gatorade, and I opened my paper and went, "Pooh,
that's it.
No
right?
way, not gonna happen." But when you're talking to an athlete, I love to talk the game of softball, not necessarily, hey, what did you hit last year? How was this? I'll find that out from other people, but I want to talk about you as a person. And if you're making good eye contact, I really appreciate that. If you're asking me questions, you're into the conversation, I really like that. I when it comes to recruiting, my dad hates this, but I go like 50-50 new school, old school. We had a girl, not highly recruited at all, a third baseman. I was told she couldn't hit. Great defensive third baseman. And so I talked to her, and my dad talked to her, and, I said, I think the type of person she is she's going to get better. She's going to develop. I said, plus, I've talked to all these coaches. I've got her numbers, and my dad's not really a numbers guy. I'm a numbers guy. But it's got to be a good mixture of both. Ended up being an all-conference kid, led our team in hitting as a freshman, hit over 400 this past year. Like, it comes down to the person, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Not necessarily the type of softball player you are, but the type of person you are.
Gotcha. Very cool. So what kind of events are you going to? Like, I mean, I've seen you obviously at our events. You've been to our camps. You've done those things. But what events are you scouting? What events are you looking for? And then when you go to an event, you hear a lot of times college coaches, they already know who they're going to look for. They already know who they're going to scout. I mean, is that your game plan? Do you ever just find somebody that you weren't looking for? What kind of events are you looking to go to? And then when you get there, kind of as a coach, what's Coach Jay's game plan?
Okay, so I like to look at teams. I know the teams. I like their philosophies. They mirror ours at our college and what we do and what they do. And I like the coaches. If I don't, there's some coaches that I no offense to travel ball coaches, and you are not one of them. Some travel ball coaches are used car salesmen, and that's not what I want. I don't want you telling me what you think I want to hear. I want the truth. Right. And so I usually just stick to coaches and teams. But I go to a lot of events, the Backwards K up in Jacksonville, anything in Orlando because it's relatively close. I don't really travel down south. We haven't had luck with girls coming up to Leesburg from down south, So I don't know why you want to give up the beach for our brand new Hardee's, but
Right, sure.
So I stick to local stuff around here. The other thing is my girls on my team do a lot of the recruiting for me. They know, you have to be a specific type of kid to be successful at Lake Sumter. You have to want to be at Lake Sumter. I've had girls where I've offered scholarships. 6 months later, you haven't made a decision, then we're not your first choice, and that's okay. And then I'll pull a scholarship offer. Because to be successful with what we do, which is different, I think, than a lot of programs, is number one, you have to be committed to us. You have to want to be here. Sure. And that's something that's really awesome. And then we host 2 events during the year. We have a 3-day camp that's actually in line with the Backwards K. Our 3-day camp is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Backwards K starts on Thursday, so we're not disrupting one of the biggest tournaments of the year. So the girls will come to our camp. That's one place where I will go, okay, are you going to the Backwards K? I want to watch you there. I won't tell them when I'm going to be there, but a lot of times you have to come to our event to get on our recruiting list, because that tells me, and that's not different than any other school, but that tells me you're really interested in us. You want to hang out with our coaching staff, learn how we coach, learn how our players are, because they are the other, coaches and helpers at the camp. So you're going to ask the questions, and that's big to find out about what we do as a program. I hate the horror stories where girls are like, that is not the coach who recruited me. It's a different person. And I try to be the same person through and through. But I don't like going to places with a plan, because I think that could take away from me finding someone. Okay. I went to Jacksonville last year, no idea what I was looking for. Knew I needed one pitcher. Who's going to get a pitcher that late in the summer? And I walked in, there she was. No other offers, came up on a visit, committed, she signed, she's coming in next year, and I've got 3 other schools. How did you get her? I'm going, I went to
Jacksonville, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just mentioned Backwards K, and I know Allie well, and she does a great job.
Yes, absolutely.
Every summer and fall. As a tournament director, as somebody who runs, I can totally endorse that product as well. Allie does a great job and gets a ton of kids recruited out of her showcase every year. So good for her. Very good.
Well, hey, I've actually, funny story. I've gone to, I think, 3 of yours, and there's been a girl there, and every time I for some reason I forget her name, and I'll go, oh man, that kid's really good. And I'll mark her down. I'll go, oh, I know that kid. And finally, the 3rd one, I was like, screw this, man. I just went over. I was like, you want to come on a visit? Because every single time I see you, I'm impressed. And then I go home and I forget. So it's also good not to have a mindset or a plan, because, you find kids like that.
Did she commit?
Yeah, she's coming.
There you go. Very good.
Yep.
All right. So we talked about that. Okay. So you talked about a player wanting to come to Lake Sumter. So let's just say that you have that player. And they write an email, or they send a letter, or they send you a video, right? They send you a video of themselves hitting, or a skills video. What are you looking for? What information can stand out for a recruit? So put yourself in the mindset of a 16, 17, 18-year-old young lady, female athlete that wants to come to your school. What in that email or letter, or what are you looking for in that skills video that's, says, all right, I got to go give this kid a look?
Number one, make sure the email's from you. I don't want to see any emails from parents.
And it's easy to tell, right? Because adults have a different language.
Yes. I'm like, I got one this morning. It's like, hey, my daughter is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if she can't even email me, man, you're not going to take her test for her at school. Like, what's going on?
Sure.
So, but make sure it's from you. Make sure you add something personal in there. I get copy and paste the speed, and speed is more people out there. Make it personal. I got one.
Have you gotten an email where they called you by another school or another coach's name?
Yes.
That's fun, huh?
Yes. And I don't look like a Jill the last time I checked. So, and I know Coach Fagan gets, UCF stuff all the time.
Oh yeah. College of Central Florida. Yeah. That's
funny. And so just make it personal. I tell you what, the biggest one in 5 years that has stuck out to me is I was actually at your event down in Clearwater, and I recruited the kid, and she super fast, everything, 2021 class. And I'm going, she hasn't emailed me. One day I walk into the mailroom, and she had written me a handwritten letter and mailed it to me.
Yeah.
And I went, all right, that stood out. That stood out. She had a video. in the letter, she said, please text me when this arrives. I would love to send you my video. She texted me the video. I watched that. So that was very unique. That was,
well, she gave you a nice personal letter, but made it a hook letter. She didn't send the video with the letter. She said, text me when you get it and I'll send you the video.
yes, I have a video I'd like to give you. Please let me know when this arrives. And I was like, you got it, man. Like,
Yeah.
That's better than she took the time to do it. That's the biggest thing. Is I understand copy paste, but it was personal. It was thank you for talking to me. I looked at your school. I really like what you do with your program. Your academics have my major. You know, it was very, very personal, and I really appreciated it.
Awesome. All right, Coach, just a couple more here for you. So, you know, we get a lot of players. I've got 10 players this year that are graduating, going on to play Division I ball, Division II ball. We've got one going to Chipola. Last year we had 2 go to St. John. So, you know, I coach with Coach Pat out of St. Leo, and him and I believe in finding the right fit and finding the right program for a kid at all levels, right? And we get some of these kids sometimes, and they're just like, you know, I had a conversation with a young lady yesterday, not on my team, but exploring her options, and she was just like, I want to go to any Division I school, like it, and that just baffled me, because, you know, listen, anytime you get an opportunity to play ball is an opportunity to play ball and pursue your education, right? But, you know, this is one of the reasons why I created the 99% Showcase. My daughter, who was committed at 14 years old to a Division I school out of state, there was a coaching change and some things happened with her scholarship. So she decided not to, you know, pursue that anymore. And now she's playing Division II ball at Florida Southern. And, you know, during that whole process, my eyes were open to, you know, the deal she got at Southern was better. The opportunity she has at Southern was better. She started 21 out of 23 games this year. The amount of money it's costing us is less. This campus is beautiful. The field is a brand new $8 million facility. So, you know, the opportunities in Division II, Division III, NAIA, and JUCO ball are just boundless. And so many kids miss out on these opportunities because they just are not exposed to the coaches, to the campuses, to the academic opportunities, which is a lot of the reason why I started the 99% Showcase, to expose these kids to coaches like yourself, to programs like yours. So, you know, what are some of the advantages of playing junior college ball? Why would I want to come to a 2-year school and then maybe transfer into a 4-year school, versus maybe just heading to that 4-year school to begin with? Because I personally believe there's a ton of advantages to it, but would like to hear yours and what your insight on that is.
Okay, so I'm actually the perfect person to answer this question, because I was offered 2-year scholarships at 2-year schools, but I was from Ohio. We didn't know what junior college was in Ohio because they don't have any. And you know, I had talked to Daytona and HCC down here, and I'm going, what's a 2-year school? It sounds ridiculous. Like, I wasn't educated, so I didn't go. I went to a 4-year school. Now my wife, from Florida, from Citrus County, went to HCC, didn't pay a dime for 2 years, you know, everything like that. And I can tell you, number one, financially, she has about microscopic percentage of the student loans that I do. And that's after she ended up doing 5 years of school. And so that is number one. Number two is immediate playing time. You're going to compete to play immediately. We had a girl who had a few D1 offers up north. She didn't want to go into the snow, and she didn't want a redshirt. Everybody said, you're going to redshirt. We've got a person at your position. She comes down here. She hit 460 this year. You know, a great kid. She wanted to play. And I tell people that's the number one thing you've got to look for. Play as long as you can.
Yeah.
Okay. So even my girls, I've had several come in and go, I'm going D1 after this, D1 after this. And after 2 years ago, coach, give me the best financial offer you can find. That's what I want. I don't want to pay a dime for school, because they're educated now. After 2 years, we've been able to sit them down and go, hey, it's not D1 end all be all, because you're going to end up paying more. You might not play as much, you know, so it's all about the fit, but you've got to prioritize what is important to you. Is it playing time? Is it finances? Because some people can pay to walk on at Alabama and just want the gear and everything like that. That's fine, but that's not a lot of people. So you got to be able to is your academics. You know, I've got a third baseman who's a 4.0 kid. I have emailed back and forth with Duke a few times, but she's also getting Division III offers because academics is number one to her.
Right.
And so it's all about prioritizing what you think is right, not what mom and dad thinks right. Not, you know, now mom and dad should have a say in the finances. I will say that because a lot of times, I mean, you know, you're footing the bill.
Oh yeah.
So you should have a say in that. But I mean, your academics, the campus. I've had girls go to some campuses and they say, I don't feel safe there. I'm not going to go there. So some of them don't like the softball complex. So you've got to prioritize what is important to you in your next 2 years, the next 2 years after that, or 4 years as a whole.
Gotcha. All right, very good. And you mentioned parents there just real quick. Have you ever not recruited a kid because of what a parent was or was not doing at a showcase or when you went to see them?
One time I was recruiting, I'm going to make this as vague as possible. I was recruiting a girl to play softball for me. And I sat down next to her mother and I liked the kid. I liked the kid a lot. And the comment was made that I'm not going to repeat. And I said, see ya. And I walked up and I walked away. And, you know, that was tough because I really, really liked the kid. She went and played at another junior college and I played her 8 times over the course of 2 years. And finally, after the last game, I gave her a huge hug. And I said, I loved watching you play the game the last 2 years. I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry it didn't work out with us, but if there's anything you need, please contact me. Because the kid wasn't the problem. It was the parent. And I'm going, if she's going to make that comment next to me while I haven't even, you know, signed or anything, I was out. I was, all right, I'm going to the concession stand and never coming back.
You didn't bring mom back a hot dog, huh?
No. I think I got in my car and was like, see ya.
Very good. All right. I think that's pretty much it, Coach. I appreciate your time. Just, you know, I have a question here that says, tell us a piece of Coach J trivia that we may not know, but, you know, we've learned that with the name of your kids. We've learned a lot about you and your program today, but do you have anything interesting about Coach J trivia that we may want to know? We learned that your sister was a better athlete, right? That dad was still coaching you on the way home into your mid-20s.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's see. My girls would be good at this. My girls know everything.
Our players always know more about us than we do. My girls make fun of me daily and say that I have Billisms, or they call me Billiam because I say all kinds of stupid dad joke stuff all the time.
That's my big thing. I love dad jokes. Let's see. A piece of J trivia. My goodness, you're killing me.
You were good up until this point, Coach.
I was.
All right, how about this? How long have you been married? I know you might have mentioned that during it. You've been married for quite a while. You've got a couple boys.
Yes. We've been married for 7.5 years. All right, here's my piece of J trivia for you.
There you go.
Okay.
I
was a college pitcher, and you know, for 4 years, you know, plus 1 redshirt year, I was a pitcher, and then they told me I had to have a second surgery, and if I wasn't engaged at the time, I would have done it because the game was what I was married to. But
sure.
my fiance was like, no, you're going to hold your kids one day. I was like, all right, cool. So I talked to coaches into letting me be a catcher. And I hit over 300 for my college career and was 2 for 2 in stolen bases.
2 for 2.
So my wife stole like 100 bases in her career or something crazy like that.
You sure that wasn't a pass ball that you just recorded?
No. No, head first, picked up the base like Ricky Henderson, everything. But I tell my wife, I say, you had more stolen bases than me, but I was 1,000% for my career. Thank you.
There you go. All right, Coach. Well, look, I really appreciate you taking the time today. You know, we hate that the season was ended, but the game will go on, right? We're doing what we got to do as a society as a whole to stay safe. We hope to see you out on the recruiting trail this summer. And if anybody needs to get a hold of you or wants to learn more about your program, just how can they get in touch with you?
Okay, so I am doing a free recruiting seminar. It will be through Zoom, just like this. Go to our website, and that's where you can find all the information on us. It is lakehawksports.com. And everything's on there.
Got it. All right, and you're doing a recruiting seminar to talk about recruiting in general, Lake Sumter, softball, all that good stuff.
Just educating everybody as much as possible. I'm not pushing our program. Our program's pretty good, but I'm not pushing our program. It's just about education.
All right, Coach.
And it's free.
There you go. Nothing's better than free. Very good. All right, I appreciate it again, Coach. Thank you for your time, and we will see you this summer.
All right, thanks for doing this. Have a good day.
No problem.